Hello everybody, this is Albert with Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today I'm going to rank 4 common teapots from different parts of the world to determine which I think is the best one to use when drinking your tea at home. Now before we begin, I highly recommend that you check out our back catalog of episodes, and I'll make sure that I put some up here that are related to this, but we have a bunch of episodes. If this comes out, we have 80 episodes. It's easy to remember what every episode is titled by the number. Okay, so what's the best way to drink your tea? I think customarily, most Americans, if you ask that, they'll just be like in a tea bag and you throw it in a cup. But we know that loose leaf tea is a much better way to enjoy tea. And it's like, again, it's like if you like meat, nobody should be going to Jack in the Box. No offense to Jack in the Box, but if you like meat, no one's going to Jack in the Box. Why are you settling for Jack in the Box if you can have filet mignon or high level steaks from with Kobe steaks from Japan? And it's the same thing with tea. But if you talk to people with loose leaf tea, there's different ways you can steep your tea, and I'm just going to go through the pros and cons of each. So let's just get started. Number 1, got the classic glass kettle with a diffuser. The pros of these, and again, there's different sizes, so we're not going to talk about necessarily the quantity because you can get a smaller one of these. The pros of this is I'm a big fan of using all 5 senses when having a tea experience. So looking at the tea leaves dry and wet, smelling the tea leaves dry and wet, looking at the liqueur, the color of the tea. And one of the things about the glass teapot is that you get to look at the color of the liqueur. I think that's great. And normally the infusers, as you can see here, are very, very big. So you can fit a lot of tea leaves here. We talked about in the previous episode how you should use a lot of tea leaves if money is not a problem. And so those are the pros. The con is that glass, of course you can drop it and break it, but the con is that it doesn't retain heat well. It does not retain heat well. So if you leave this out, unless you have it on one of those warmers, but unless you leave it out, it's going to get cold relatively soon. Okay, what else? Let's go gawan. Gawans are traditional Chinese cup. If you go to like provincial, super rural China, this is what they use. Now, it's a very simple concept. You put in the tea leaves in here, you put in the hot water, and you steep it for however long you're going to steep it. And then you cover it, and then you steep it for however long you steep it. Then, of course, you smell it. And then you're going to drink it. Now, the gawans, I think, are beautiful. For me, though, I'm not a big fan of steeping where I'm drinking because when you're drinking it, you get the tea leaves. And if you're drinking something like Essentia, which is very grainy and there's a lot of pieces, it's different than, let's say, if you're drinking an oolong where it unwraps and so the bigger leaves, because you can kind of push the bigger leaves out. But I'm not a big fan of the Gawan because it's just harder to drink it with the tea leaves in there. But I think they're very beautiful to drink. And the other option that you have here, of course, is that you can cover the lid and pour it into another cup. If you notice on the Gawan, there isn't a funnel. So when you're pouring it out, it could spill. Though they are beautiful. Another choice is a Yiqing. I apologize to my Chinese friends if I mispronounce this. Yiqing is a classic Chinese kettle. I like these because of the glazed porcelain side really retains the flavor. And so I'll use the Yiqing. And so if I'm ranking these, this is going to be number 4 glass, and then this will be 3, and this will be number 2. So the pros of this is the glazed porcelain in it allows the flavor to be retained. So I'll use the Yiqing for my pu'er, and I only use it for pu'er. Because pu'er is the tea that I drink the most. So I'll use it here. So it's a very simple thing. It's got a filter inside. So you dump in the tea leaves, you pour it in, and you cover it. And then when you're ready, you pour it out. Now, my problem with the Yiqing, and I've used a couple of these before, and I do tend to have the same problems with it. It's like you have to, sometimes the water won't come out unless you open this a little. And then when you open it a little, then you're having issues with water coming out or tea coming out from the top and from over there. But it is handy, it's nice, it retains heat really, really well. I would say the latter 3 of these, going with the Gawan and the Yiqing, and then the last one, all retain heat much better than glass. And the other thing I like about these is that you're doing something traditional. So you're using something that has been used to consume tea for literally thousands of years. But my number 1 teapot is the Kyushu. I love the Kyushu. This is what I use for everything. And you can get different sizes, of course. So the Kyushu has the benefit, and my pu'er is still in there. It has the benefit of the Yiqing in that again, it's going to retain heat very well, and it's a traditional way to drink tea. The Kyushu, as the name would suggest, comes from Japan. The I Ching comes from China, just like the Gowon comes from China. The reason I like the Kyushu the best is because of the handle that is, if I remember my geometry, almost 90%. It's a perpendicular from the spout. So again, there is a filter inside. You throw in your tea leaves, you pour in the hot water, you cover it, and then when I'm ready to drink, it's just so easy, the dynamic. Whereas if I with the Gowon, I'm like, okay, like, oh, it's pain, or I got to pour it, oh, it's spilling everywhere. And with the Gowon and with the I Ching, I also have some spillage issues. Kyushu, never have spillage. All I do is put my thumb right here on the top, on the lid, put my thumb here, grab it, pour it in. I'll even pour it really high up because I want to watch it. Look, I got some that came out. That's it, boom. So it's the best of both worlds. It retains heat really well. It allows the tea leaves to expand, which we want in any way we're drinking. That's why, as much as ball infusers are great, and of course we sell some here. They're not nearly as optimal as using an actual teapot. And I just think you get no spillage. It's just really convenient the way it ergonomically handles in your hand. And this is why I would go this as the best one to use. And you can find these currently at Green Tea House. We don't sell any, but you can certainly find them online at various price points. Guys, post in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, take care and God bless.